Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD, treasure hunters, history lovers, and coin collectors. If you've ever glanced at your loose change and thought, it's just a dime, you might want to think again. Because today, we're zooming in on a tiny coin with a massive surprise, the United States Roosevelt Dime from the year 2005. This little 10-cent piece could be hiding a secret that turns it into a collector's dream, and possibly one of the most valuable dimes in your pocket change right now. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who found a strange-looking dime in the back of your drawer, stay with us till the very end. You're going to be blown away when you hear how much one of these dimes has sold for. Now, let's start by turning the clock back and diving into a bit of American history. The Roosevelt dime has been part of U.S. currency since 1946, introduced just months after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. FDR wasn't just a historic figure, he was also closely connected with the March of Dimes, a foundation dedicated to fighting polio, the very disease he battled himself. So, when he passed away, the U.S. Mint decided there could be no better tribute than placing his face on the dime, a coin that would circulate in every American's hand, pocket, and piggy bank. Fast forward to 2005. This was a year of tech explosions, pop culture milestones, and a growing interest in coin collecting thanks to the State Quarters program. While the spotlight was on those flashy quarters, the humble dime was quietly continuing its run, faithfully minted, faithfully overlooked. But here's where it gets interesting. The 2005 Roosevelt dime was struck at multiple mints, including the ones in Philadelphia and Denver. You can tell which one yours came from by checking for a tiny mint mark, usually a small P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver, right above the date on the coin. While millions of these were produced, only a handful came out different. Special. Extraordinary. Imagine this, a routine day at the mint, everything running smoothly, until something slightly off happens. A die gets misaligned. A blank planchet gets struck the wrong way. A slight doubling effect appears on the lettering. Or, perhaps, a wrong metal composition slips through undetected. These aren't just flaws. These are what collectors call mint errors, and in the world of numismatics, mint errors are pure gold, figuratively speaking. Of course, the thing is, most 2005 Roosevelt dimes are only worth their face value, 10 cents. But once in a while, you stumble upon one that looks just a bit different. It might have a double die on the word liberty or in God we trust. Maybe Roosevelt's profile looks slightly distorted. Or the edge has a weird, irregular texture. These aren't manufacturing accidents, they're accidental rarities. And that changes everything. When a rare coin surfaces, especially one that was never supposed to exist, collectors go wild. Auction houses take notice. Bidding wars break out. And suddenly, a tiny piece of metal the size of your thumbnail is commanding 5 figures at high-end auctions. These coins become legendary. They become stories passed down from one collector to the next. They're no longer currency, they're treasure, and what makes the Roosevelt dime from 2005 even more interesting is that it falls into that sweet spot of being recent enough to be found in circulation, but old enough to have developed scarcity in certain mint conditions. So yes, there is still a very real chance that someone watching this video has one in a drawer, in a coin jar, maybe even in their car's cup holder, and they don't even know it. Now, let's talk about what you should be looking for. First off, the condition of the coin matters. Collectors go crazy for coins in mint state or uncirculated condition. That means coins with no scratches, wear, or damage, basically, how they looked the moment they were struck. If you have a 2005 Roosevelt dime in pristine condition, that's already a good sign. Next, check the mint mark and look for anything unusual. Doubling on the date or letters? That could be a double die. Off-center strike? That's a big one. Strange coloration or missing details? You might have something really rare, and yes, it's not just about minting mistakes, sometimes it's about the metals used. There have been instances of dimes struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally made using a metal intended for another denomination. These are extremely rare and highly valuable. So let's say you found something weird. Something interesting. Something special. What now? Well, your first stop should be a certified coin dealer or a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts can examine your coin under high magnification and determine its authenticity and potential value. And once it's verified, that's where things can really heat up, because the right dime, in the right condition, can fetch an astonishing amount of money. Now, you've been patient, and here's the part you've been waiting for. One particular Roosevelt dime from 2005, due to a unique minting error and being preserved in near-perfect condition, didn't just sell for a few $100s, not even a few thousand. That small, silver-colored coin, originally worth 10 cents, was sold for a jaw-dropping $37,600, let that sink in. That's right. A coin that most people would ignore on the sidewalk turned out to be worth more than a brand new car, more than a year's salary for some, and definitely more than you'd expect from a humble dime. So now the big question is, do you have one of these rare dimes? Go ahead, check your change jar. Look through your old drawers. Ask your grandparents if they've got any old coins lying around. You never know where treasure is hiding. And if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare 2005 Roosevelt dimes with a unique mint error or in flawless condition, you could be holding a five-figure fortune in the palm of your hand. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and elusive treasures in American numismatics, the 1894 Barber Dime. This tiny coin, barely worth a dime in its day, carries a story and a value that could change your life forever. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover why this particular dime commands a price that most coins can only dream of, an astounding $307,600. Let's rewind to the late 19th century. The year is 1894, and the United States is in the midst of rapid growth, industrial innovation, and expanding westward. The coinage system is evolving, and collectors and everyday Americans alike use coins like the Barber Dime every day for commerce. Designed by Charles E. Barber, chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, this dime features the classic Liberty head with a wreath on the reverse side. The Barber coinage, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, was a staple of American currency from 1892 to 1916. But unlike many other coins, the 1894 Barber Dime is surrounded by mystery and intrigue. Only a very small number were ever minted, some reports say as few as 24 pieces, and even fewer have survived in excellent condition today. This scarcity has made the 1894 Barber Dime one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in American history. What makes this coin so special? Well, there's a legend behind it. According to collectors, the 1894 Barber Dime was struck as part of a very limited production run at the Philadelphia Mint, possibly for accounting reasons or as test strikes. Some stories even suggest that a few were given as gifts to important people, while others might have simply vanished into the hands of early collectors. This scarcity and the mystique surrounding its origin only add to its allure. Visually, the Barber Dime is a work of art. On the front, the obverse, you see the profile of Liberty wearing a Phrygian cap adorned with laurel and oak leaves, symbolizing civil and military glory. The word Liberty is inscribed boldly across her headband. The reverse side features a wreath of corn, wheat, maple, and oak leaves, encircling the words, "1 dime." This design, simple yet elegant, captures a moment in American history when coins were not just money but pieces of artistry and pride. Now, when it comes to condition, rarity truly defines value. Most surviving 1894 Barber dimes have suffered from decades of circulation, making pristine examples incredibly hard to find. Mint state versions, those that look as crisp as the day they left the mint, are practically priceless in the numismatic world. Even coins graded very fine or extremely fine command hefty prices, but it's the mint state and proof examples that attract the serious bidders at major auctions. Speaking of auctions, the 1894 Barber Dime has an impressive track record. Over the years, individual coins have sold for sums that leave collectors breathless. It's the coin that keeps making headlines whenever it surfaces, usually fetching six-figure sums or more depending on its condition and provenance. Provenance, the history of ownership, can dramatically increase a coin's value. especially if it's connected to a famous collector or documented historical event. In addition to scarcity and condition, collectors also hunt for any unique features, such as mint marks indicating the Philadelphia Mint or rare die varieties. Since mint marks weren't always present on coins of this era, each variation can be a significant factor in value. The 1894 Barber Dime's mysterious origin and the incredibly low mintage numbers make every surviving specimen a treasure beyond measure. If you're lucky enough to own an 1894 Barber Dime, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a piece of American history, a legend in the numismatic world, and potentially a life-changing asset. If you find yourself holding one in mint condition or with a unique provenance, it's worth getting it professionally graded and appraised to understand its true value. And here comes the jaw-dropping revelation that makes this coin one of the most coveted in existence. An 1894 Barber Dime, especially in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, has been known to command a price of $307,600. Yes, you heard that right. What started as a simple dime in 1894 can be worth more than most people's cars, down payments on homes, or even college tuition. It's a reminder that sometimes, history and rarity combine to create treasures that transcend their humble origins. So, next time you come across an old dime, or if a family heirloom passes down to you, take a closer look. You might just be holding a fortune in your hand. Today, we're taking a close look at a seemingly ordinary coin with an extraordinary story, the United States Roosevelt Dime from 1985. At first glance, it's just a dime, right? 10 cents, small and often overlooked. But beneath its familiar design and everyday presence lies a fascinating tale and a potential value that could make your jaw drop. If you've ever wondered whether a coin from your pocket change could be worth more than its face value, this video is for you. By the end, you'll discover why the 1985 Roosevelt Dime with the right mint mark and condition is much more than just a piece of metal. It's a collector's treasure that has sold for as much as $46,600. Let's start by setting the stage. The Roosevelt Dime was introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who passed away that year. FDR's face replaced the winged Liberty Head dime, and since then, the Roosevelt Dime has been a constant presence in American currency. The design is simple yet iconic, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the obverse side and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. Now, the 1985 Roosevelt Dime might seem like just another coin from a period when billions were minted for everyday use. But here's the catch: coins that appear common can sometimes harbor rare secrets, especially when it comes to mint marks and subtle production quirks. Mint marks are those small letters on a coin indicating where it was struck. In 1985, Roosevelt dimes were minted primarily in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint marks P, D, or S identify these locations. Most coins from this year are plentiful, but among these billions of dimes, there's a rare and valuable exception: the 1985 Roosevelt Dime with a certain mint mark error, or an unusual minting anomaly, has captivated collectors worldwide. Imagine finding a dime that's nearly identical to millions of others but carries a small imperfection or a mint mark that wasn't supposed to be there, something that makes it unique and scarce. One such variation is the 1985 no mint mark dime. Typically, Philadelphia coins from this era carry the P mint mark, but in rare cases, some 1985 dimes were struck without any mint mark at all. These no mint mark coins are incredibly rare and highly sought after because they represent an unusual minting oversight. Condition also plays a huge role. Coins that are crisp, uncirculated, and free from wear and tear are far more valuable than those passed around in circulation for decades. A pristine 1985 Roosevelt dime, especially one with a rare mint error or without a mint mark, can fetch prices that surprise even experienced collectors. Another point of interest is die errors. These are imperfections in the coin's design caused by damaged or misaligned dies used during striking. Examples include doubling of letters or numbers, off-center strikes, or missing elements. These errors can make a coin stand out dramatically from its peers, driving up value considerably. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1985 Roosevelt dime that looks different from the rest, maybe it's missing its mint mark, or it shows signs of doubling, or has an unusual strike, don't just toss it back into your pocket change. It could be the key to something much bigger. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, assigning it a condition rating from poor to mint state. Coins graded highly, especially with verified mint errors or unique characteristics, are the ones that can bring top dollar at auction. The story of the 1985 Roosevelt Dime goes beyond just rarity and errors. It's also about the thrill of discovery and the connections between everyday history and extraordinary value. Collecting coins is like holding tiny pieces of history in your hand, each one telling a story of the people, places, and times that shaped them. So, here's the big reveal: a rare 1985 Roosevelt Dime, particularly those with minting anomalies or the elusive no-mint mark variety, has been known to sell for an astounding $46,600. That's right. $46,600 for a coin you might casually find in your pocket or spare change jar. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary surprises. Today, we're exploring a coin that at first glance looks like any other dime, the United States Roosevelt Dime from 1977. But trust me, this particular dime has a hidden side that could make it one of the most valuable coins you'll ever come across. If you're a collector, a history lover, or someone who just loves uncovering surprises, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover why a 1977 Roosevelt Dime with a special mint mark and condition can be worth a staggering $57,100. Let's rewind to the year 1977. America was in the midst of cultural shifts, the economy was evolving, and the coins in your pocket were quietly being struck at three main mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Roosevelt Dime, introduced back in 1946 as a tribute to Franklin D. Roosevelt, remained the nation's 10-cent standard, with its familiar design of the president's profile on the front and the torch, olive branch, and oak sprig on the back, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. What sets the 1977 Roosevelt Dime apart isn't just the year, it's the story of rarity, condition, and a special mint mark that collectors go absolutely crazy for. Mint marks, those small letters on a coin indicating the location of the mint, can make a huge difference in a coin's value. In 1977, the Philadelphia Mint generally did not place a P mint mark on dimes, while Denver used a D, and San Francisco produced proof coins marked with an S. But here's where it gets fascinating. Some 1977 Roosevelt dimes with certain mint marks or rare error features are incredibly scarce. Coins that might look almost identical to millions of others can suddenly become rare gems if they have a particular mint mark variant or an unusual minting error. Collectors call these mint errors, and they come in many forms, from double dies and off-center strikes to missing mint marks and more. The condition of these coins is another major factor. Many coins from the 1970s circulated heavily, showing wear and tear from everyday use. But an uncirculated 1977 Roosevelt Dime that has been preserved in near-mint condition is a rare find, and it can fetch a much higher price. Add to that a rare mint mark or error, and you've got a recipe for something truly valuable. One popular area of interest is the double die error, where letters or numbers appear to be doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. A 1977 Roosevelt Dime with such doubling, especially on the date or inscriptions, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the real game changers are those coins that combine pristine condition with rare mint marks or unusual production anomalies. Have you ever heard of the elusive 1977 no mint mark dime or the proof coins from San Francisco that have unique striking features? These variations are so rare that collectors prize them above most other coins from that year. Provenance, or the documented history of a coin, can also add significantly to its value. Coins once owned by famous collectors or those with well-documented pedigrees attract premium prices. The thrill of finding one of these rare dimes is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. You might have one sitting in a drawer, or in an old coin collection inherited from a relative, without knowing it. The key is to carefully examine any 1977 dimes you come across, paying close attention to mint marks and any signs of doubling or unusual features. To determine the true worth of a rare coin, professional grading and authentication are essential. Grading companies like PCGS or NGC inspect coins and provide an official condition rating, which can dramatically impact their market value. Coins graded as mint state or proof with verified errors or rare mint marks command the highest prices. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. A 1977 Roosevelt Dime with the right mint mark, exceptional condition, and rare error has been known to sell for an eye-popping $57,100. That's right, $57,100 for a dime that most people overlook every single day. So next time you empty your pockets or sort through old coins, don't rush past that Roosevelt dime from 1977. Take a moment to inspect it closely. You might just be holding a rare treasure that could change your life. Today, we're diving into the intriguing world of American coinage with a spotlight on the United States Roosevelt Dime from 1975. Now, you might think a dime from the mid-70s is just another piece of pocket change, but hold on, because this little coin has a story and a value that could blow your mind. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll find out why a 1975 Roosevelt dime with the right mint mark and condition can be worth an incredible $67,300. Let's start by going back to 1975. America was navigating an era of cultural shifts, economic challenges, and technological advancements. The coins minted during this time tell a fascinating story about the nation's history and economy. The Roosevelt dime, named after President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was already a staple of U.S. currency, having been introduced in 1946. With Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak sprig on the reverse symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, this coin is instantly recognizable. Now, while billions of these dimes were minted in 1975, the value of a coin depends on more than just its age and design. One of the most important factors is the mint mark, the small letter that tells you where the coin was produced. In 1975, Roosevelt dimes were minted primarily in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, holds different levels of rarity and collector interest. Most people don't realize that some 1975 Roosevelt dimes with specific mint marks or minting errors are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. The Denver Mint produced the majority of these coins, but the San Francisco Mint made proof coins which are inherently more collectible. Sometimes, though, what sets a coin apart is a subtle anomaly, a tiny error in the minting process, a misplaced or missing mint mark, or a double die effect where part of the design appears doubled. For example, the double die error can make a coin stand out dramatically. It happens when the coin is struck twice or the die itself has a misalignment, causing some design elements like the date or lettering to appear doubled. This rare imperfection can cause the coin's value to skyrocket, especially if the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition. Speaking of condition, that's another crucial aspect. Coins from 1975, like many circulated coins, often show wear and tear, scratches, nicks, or fading details, which reduces their market value. But if you happen to find a 1975 Roosevelt dime that looks as fresh as the day it was struck, without any damage or heavy wear, that coin becomes a prized collector's item. Provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership, can also influence value. Coins with well-recorded histories, or those once part of famous collections, often fetch higher prices at auction. Collectors crave rarity combined with exceptional condition and an interesting backstory. Now imagine finding a 1975 Roosevelt dime with a rare mint mark variation or an unusual mint error, preserved in near-perfect condition. This is the kind of coin that doesn't just sit in a drawer, it makes headlines and commands serious attention from the numismatic community. Professional grading is the key to unlocking the true value of such coins. Companies like PCGS or NGC grade coins on a scale from poor to mint state, taking into account wear, luster, strike quality, and other factors. A high grade combined with a rare mint mark or error can multiply a coin's worth exponentially. So, what is the value of a 1975 Roosevelt dime that ticks all these boxes: rare mint mark, exceptional condition, maybe even a unique minting error? It has been known to sell for an astonishing $67,300, yes, $67,300 for a single dime. This proves that even coins that seem ordinary at first glance can hold incredible value when rarity, condition, and history come together. Next time you're sorting through coins or digging through old collections, don't overlook that 1975 Roosevelt dime. Take a close look. You might just be holding a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more amazing stories, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover numismatic gems. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.